warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good morning. Yang berbahagia Tan Sri Abdul Wahid Omar, Group Chairman Permodalan Nasional Berhad PNB. Yang berbahagia Datuk Dr. Yusal Yusoff, President and Chief Executive Officer, Malaysian Institute of Integrity, distinguished guests, participants of National Integrity Convention 2017, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of NIC 2017 Organizing Committee and PETRONAS, as the main sponsor of this convention, it is indeed my pleasure to welcome all of you. I would also like to express my deepest gratitude to everyone, also like who are involved in making this event successes. A special thanks also goes out to Malaysian Institute of Integrity for selecting PETRONAS to co-chair this convention. NIC 2017 is held in conjunction with National Integrity Month, with the theme reinforcing corporate integrity top-down and all around. It is calling for integrity to be driven from the top and upheld at every level of organization. In fact, integrity is not one-man job. It is everyone's job. Every single of us in this room has the responsibility to ensure that integrity is made an utmost priority and practice as a culture and goes beyond the perimeters of our workplace. Ladies and gentlemen, in PETRONAS, integrity is always as part of our shared value, alongside with professionalism, loyalty and cohesiveness. Integrity is also embedded in PETRONAS' 6 culture belief, that is, tell me, nurture trust, focus execution on it, share successes and result method, with it having a DNA integrity running through its veins. It a manifestation in corporate world, translate in how organization is run, guided by a shared code of ethics and established law. This is what we call corporate integrity. In today's world, corporate integrity is more than just a boardroom priority. There is an increase in demand for greater transparency and accountability. Although financial performance is crucial for the company to survive, but the drivers sustainable business growth are rapidly emerging from non-financial asset and benchmark. Hence, business leaders are demanded to reinforce integrity in various aspects of business operation, such as: number 1, managing third parties and the society beyond the bottom line. Number 2, engaging and inspiring the workforce to internalize governance and integrity. And number 3, safeguarding reputation and trustworthiness to a wide range of stakeholders. Ladies and gentlemen, the close tie between PETRONAS and integrity can be traced since establishment of Tun Azizan Zainal Abidin Integrity Circle 2006. With the signing of MOU with Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission in 2012, the Office of Chief Integrity Officer has since been entrusted by PETRONAS to continue championing integrity, ethics, and morals within the organization. As a multinational oil and gas company, PETRONAS gives utmost importance in the commitment to maintain the standard in corporate governance with the highest level of integrity. To lead to the recent signing ceremony of corruption privilege or ikrar bebas rasuah by PETRONAS leaders in collaboration with Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission back in June 2017. It signifies our commitment to uphold high standard of governance and to combat all forms of corruption within the organization. The initiative complements PETRONAS Code of Conduct and Business Ethics, or better known as COBE, which contain detailed policy statement on standard of behavior and ethical conduct expected from individuals and companies working for and on behalf of PETRONAS. Ladies and gentlemen, after months of preparation, today marks another significant milestone for PETRONAS and Malaysian Institute Integrity. This is a great avenue to encourage networking, meeting experts and peers from within and outside the oil and gas industry. I hope the vibrant sharing of knowledge throughout this convention will draw out best practice and will deliver a significant impact in your role to shape your businesses. Today, we have 5 roundtable discussions that discuss on first, balancing the shareholder financial interests against the interests of stakeholders. The second one, future of corporate ethics, combating corruption, corporate transparency, and digital innovation governance. As a result of this discussion, a set of resolutions will be presented, which we hope will be considered by the government to be part of its agenda in upholding integrity, making an impact, and help strengthen the value of integrity in the Malaysian society. Before I conclude my speech, I truly hope that you will be a fruitful time here and make the best of our convergence. Together, we can create a corporate world that is healthy, encouraging and integrity with the right ethics and values of us. And for our future generation, will soon inherit our action. Thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Yang bahagia Tan Sri Abdul Wahid Omar, Group Chairman of PNP Berhad, who is our keynote speaker this morning. Yang bahagia Tan Sri Dr. Madinah Muhammad, Auditor General of Malaysia, who is also a member of the board of the Malaysian Institute of Integrity. Yang bahagia Tan Sri Dr. Ahmad Tajuddin Ali, Chairman of Construction Industry Development Board. Yang bahagia Dr. Jaafar Mahad, Chief Integrity Officer of PETRONAS. Tan Sri Dr. Dato, Excellencies, panelists, moderators, distinguished delegates, colleagues and friends of integrity. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good morning to all. It is indeed a privilege and a pleasure to welcome all of you to this year's National Integrity Convention and to have this opportunity to speak to you this morning. This event is an annual event that we at the Malaysian Institute of Integrity have been organizing since 2006. Allow me to share briefly the journey of the National Integrity Convention thus far. The first convention was organized in 2006 at the Putrajaya International Convention Center. The theme for that year was Integrity Penggerak Misi Nasional. In 2007, we focused our discussion on how integrity can help push the Malaysia's development. In 2008, we talked about how integrity can be the catalyst for sustainable development. This was long before SDGs became a fashion. In 2009 and 2011, we focused our convention on the role of our younger generation. In 2012, we discussed on how to address people's perception on integrity of our enforcement agencies. In 2014, we looked at integrity agenda for the people as a whole. In 2015, we decided that we had to review the National Integrity Plan and look at future challenges. Last year, we collaborated with the Razak School of Government and we focused our convention on how integrity can help empower the public sector. This year is a special year for us as it marks the 10th National Integrity Convention, and we are fortunate to have the support of PETRONAS that we are able to organize the convention at the Kuala Lumpur Convention Center. Thank you, PETRONAS. The theme, as you know, for this year is reinforcing corporate integrity, top-down and all around. In short, we have been using the National Convention as a platform for us to discuss many of the issues related to ethics, integrity and good governance, with many different focus groups, from youth to public and private sectors. From PICC to KLCC, we have been able to use these conventions as a place for us to find many solutions based on best practices shared during the presentation and discussions. Since the convention in 2015, we have started to capture the presentations, discussion, as well as suggestions in the form of published proceedings. You will find last year's proceedings in your conference bag. Ladies and gentlemen, at this juncture, allow me to also share with all of you some of the instruments we have developed at the Malaysian Institute of Integrity. To name a few, we have an integrity assessment tool, or better known as IAT. It is an instrument to measure the state of integrity of an organization. It is a useful tool to plan for an intervention or to help you prepare for an integrity plan for your organization. We also have the Malaysian Integrity Profile, or MIP. It is a psychometric test used for assessment of personal integrity. MIP evaluates an individual's integrity level based on two aspects. One, personal qualities aspect, measures whether an individual has the traits that are essential for integrity, and two, the attitude aspects, which measure beliefs about proper behavior at work. This is an important tool, especially to prevent Dracula from being appointed as CEO of the blood bank. On a serious note, these are just two of many other instruments and modules that we have developed to help promote integrity and good values in Malaysia. A special integrity module developed with CIDB and MACC specifically for the construction industry will be launched today by Yang Bahagia Tan Sri Dr. Ahmad Tajuddin Ali, the chairman of CIDB board. Thank you, Tan Sri, for coming. You can, of course, learn more about these instruments from our experts who will be available at the exhibition area outside this auditorium. We do hope some of these instruments can be of use in addressing some of the challenges faced by your companies. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my great pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker. Tan Sri Abdul Wahid Omar is currently the Group Chairman of Permodalan National Berhad, PNB, a post he has held since being appointed on 1st August 2016. From June 2013 to June 2016, he was the Minister in the Prime Minister's Department in charge of economic planning. And for a brief period before helming PNB, he was an Uber driver. Prior to joining the Malaysian Cabinet in June 2013, he was the President and the CEO of Maybank, Malaysia's largest public listed company and one of the leading financial services groups in Southeast Asia. With 30 years of corporate and public sector experiences, Tan Sri Wahid is well regarded as one of the most versatile CEOs, having led 3 major organizations in financial services, telecommunications, and infrastructure development. He successfully led the transformation of Telekom Malaysia into a regional telecommunication group prior to its demerger with Axiata in 2008, and spearheaded the successful turnaround of the Group, Malaysia's leading infrastructure conglomerate, following its takeover by Nasional in 2001. Tan Sri Wahid is a fellow of the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants, United Kingdom, and a member of Malaysian Institute of Accountants. Over the years, he has received many accolades, including Malaysia CEO of the Year Award 2006 by Business Times and American Express, Asian Bankers 2013 Leadership Achievement Award for Malaysia, and the Edge Value Creator Award 2013. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege now to invite Yang Berhad Tan Sri Abdul Wahid Omar, former Minister in the Prime Minister's Department, to deliver his keynote address. Dengan segala hormat dan silakan.
Thank you, Dato, for that very, very kind introduction. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Yang Berhad Datuk Dr. Anis Yusal Yusoff, the President and Chief Executive Officer of the Malaysian Institute of Integrity, Yang Berhad Tan Sri Dr. Madinah Muhammad, Tan Sri Dr. Muhammad Tajudin Ali, Datuk Haji Jaafar Mahad, distinguished speakers, guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and very good morning. Let me begin by thanking Dr. Anis and the Malaysian Institute of Integrity for giving me the honor to deliver this keynote address at this National Integrity Convention 2017. The theme for this year's convention is reinforcing corporate integrity top-down and all around. In delivering this keynote address, I will be drawing from my own experience and share my personal perspectives. Please, therefore, allow me to cover 3 areas in my address this morning. First, on integrity as one of the core values of a good and sustainable leader. Secondly, reinforcing integrity in society and corporate Malaysia. And third, a quick commercial on PNB, if you permit me. Ladies and gentlemen, I was born as number 9 in a family of 11 siblings. Coming from a low-income household, we were determined to take the family out of poverty. Somehow, when I was young, I was told accountants make a lot of money. And looking at the many successful accountants in the corporate sector today, I guess I was not wrong. Now, since I was relatively good in numbers, I decided to pursue accountancy as a profession. And Alhamdulillah, with a sponsorship or scholarship from Mara, I graduated from BCCA and started my career in 1987, beginning with KPMG and subsequently with Permodalan Bankers, Kumpulan Firma, and later the Amanah Capital Group. Now, as an accountant, my ultimate ambition was to be a chief financial officer of a major public listed company. Alhamdulillah, I achieved that ambition when I was appointed as the CFO of Telekom Malaysia in March 2001. And as it turned out, I got more than what I bargained for, having led 3 large organizations as the CEO, namely the Group, Telekom Malaysia, and Maybank. And it did not stop there. I was indeed honored and privileged to be invited by the Prime Minister to serve as a Senator and Minister in the Malaysian Cabinet, the highest decision-making body in the country. An action-packed 3 years, I must say. And now as Group Chairman of PNB since August 2016, probably one of the most respected positions in corporate Malaysia. I have indeed been fortunate to have been exposed to the private sector, the government-linked companies, the government proper, and now a government-linked investment company. Many people have been asking, what does it take to be a good and sustainable leader? Well, to my mind, beyond working hard and working smart, there are 3 prerequisites to becoming a good and sustainable leader: unquestionable integrity, competency, and humility. Humility is about treating people with mutual respect. It's about staying grounded to our roots And it's about knowing that we all exist in this world to serve a greater purpose in life. Competency, as you all know, is about having the necessary skills and knowledge to do a good job. And when it comes to integrity, many people ask me how best to describe integrity. To me, in its simplest form, integrity is about doing the right thing even when no one is watching. A competent leader with unquestionable integrity and works very hard will enjoy a reputation that will precede him. Even the competitors will acknowledge it. And I can certainly vouch that because as the person who approached me to join Maybank while I was at Telkom Malaysia was none other than Tan Sri Mahad, the then chairman of Maxis Communications, Celcom's main competitor. Tan Sri Mahad was at that time, in 2007, a board member of Maybank and later became my chairman. On the other hand, a leader without integrity is certainly not sustainable. If indeed a leader has committed an act of dishonesty, it will be found out eventually. I understand that from the program, there will be a session this afternoon with the title, The Future of Corporate Ethics. You can run, but you cannot hide, to be moderated by Ms. Josie Fernandez, a member of MRI, and we have Mr. Abdul and Dr. Mark as speakers. I hope you enjoy the session this afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, fundamentally, the words integrity and trust are closely related. Trust is often used to interpret what people say, to describe behavior, to decide if we feel comfortable sharing information, or to indicate whether we feel other people have our interests at heart. We all know that trust means what trust means, but we often take the word for granted. Recently, I came across the concept of trust equation developed by Charles E. Green of Trusted Advisor. The trust equation uses 4 objective variables to measure trustworthiness, namely credibility, reliability, intimacy, and self-orientation, where trustworthiness, or trust quotient, or TQ if like, similar to the concept of intelligence quotient or IQ, is measured by the formula C plus R plus I divided by S. The C, or credibility in the equation, is about whether the person has the competency or authority to speak on the subject matter. The R, or reliability, is about whether the person has delivered on what he or she promised in the past. Dependability and track record, if you like. The I, or intimacy, refers to the personal commitment of the leader towards his staff or his constituency. And the denominator S, or self-orientation, refers to whether the leader has vested interest in the outcome of the issue at hand. Of late, the term trust deficit is often used. Indeed, a person will suffer from trust deficit if he doesn't have the competency to speak on the subject matter, or if he has not delivered on his past promises, or if he does not demonstrate humility and takes no interest in the well-being of his people, or if he has vested interest in the outcome of a particular initiative he is promoting. I must say that this concept of trust equation has helped me understand better why sometimes a very competent leader suffers from trust deficit and is unable to engender support from his stakeholders to make the transformation of his company or organization successful or sustainable. It is therefore important for leaders to embrace the prerequisite values of a good and sustainable leader, and that is integrity, competency, and humility, and work towards improving his trust quotient, or TQ. Ladies and gentlemen, let me now move on to the second part of my address and talk about reinforcing integrity in society and in corporate Malaysia. For Malaysia to progress towards becoming a developed nation, it is important for society to rid itself of corrupt practices. I am indeed heartened by the recent anti-corruption drive by the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, or MACC. MACC has arrested 939 people in 2016 for various corruption offences. This represents an 11.7% increase over the 841 people arrested in 2015. The intensity of MECC's actions continued with some 785 arrests made as of October this year. Among the people recently arrested include senior civil servants, prominent personalities involved in some high-profile cases. The MECC must be supported in their anti-corruption drive without fear or without favor. Unfortunately, though, we are still suffering from poor perception. Our ranking in Transparency International's Corruption Perceptions Index in 2016 dropped from number 54 to number 55 out of 176 countries. Among ASEAN, Malaysia was well below Singapore at number 7 and below Brunei at number 41. It is our hope that with MECC's relentless anti-corruption drive and zero tolerance towards corruption, Malaysia's Corruption Perceptions Index will improve over time. Zero tolerance towards corruption must begin with all of us, civil servants and corporates alike. For such anti-corruption drive to be sustainable, it is also important for both the givers and the recipients of bribes to be charged and punished. I think so far I've only seen the recipients being punished, but never the giver. Corruption, to me, would persist as long as there are parties who are prepared to pay their way into lucrative contracts and favors. The time has come for the civil service and for corporate Malaysia to say no to corruption. I'm sure we are all familiar with the anti-wildlife poaching campaign with the tagline, "When the biting stops, the killing will stop too." Well, to me, the same thing applies to corruption or acts of dishonesty in society too. As the anti-corruption saying goes, when the giving stops, the taking of bribes will stop too. Ladies and gentlemen, as we all know, many efforts have been done to enhance corporate governance and integrity in Malaysia. Let me perhaps highlight 5 of them. Firstly, in April 2017, the Securities Commission released the new Malaysian Code on Corporate Governance. The purpose of the code is to strengthen corporate culture anchored on accountability and transparency. The code has some 36 practices to support 3 principles, namely board leadership and effectiveness, effective audit, risk management and internal controls, and corporate reporting, as well as relationship with stakeholders. Secondly, the government-linked companies transformation program, which was introduced in 2004, which has successfully led to better governance, improved performance, and effective nation building among government-linked companies. GLCs like Maybank, Samdavi, the Nasional, TM, and Axiata, and UM Group, of course, are all now at the forefront when it comes to putting good corporate governance into practice. The third is the Malaysian Institute of Integrity that has been facilitating efforts to strengthen the integrity of the public and private sectors in the country, with a focus on the implementation of the National Integrity Plan and serving as think tank and center of reference on integrity matters. Fourth is on the introduction of the Corporate Integrity Pledge back in 2011. The Corporate Integrity Pledge, or CIP, is a declaration by a corporate organization in Malaysia to support the corruption prevention effort in the country. By signing this pledge, a corporate organization makes a unilateral decision to uphold the corruption prevention principles. Currently, some 1,119 signatories, which include 190 from public sector, 903 from the private sector, and 26 NGOs have signed the CIP with MECC. This includes Maybank, which signed the CIP back in 2011 itself, the first financial institution in Malaysia to sign the CIP. And fifth, the introduction of no-gifts policy by MCC in an effort to enhance the integrity of the government and the corporate sector. PNB, together with many other corporate entities such as PETRONAS, Telecom Malaysia, Malaysia Airports, have all adopted a no-gift policy to deter both employees of the companies and external parties from being involved in bribery. In doing so, however, it is very important for us to embrace not just the form, but more importantly, the spirit and intention of that policy. It is very important for all stakeholders to take a pragmatic approach in implementing the no-gift policy. I understand that some companies have gone to the extent where they don't even allow their employees to accept Mandarin oranges during Chinese New Year or small Kuih Raya during Hari Raya Idul Fitri. I don't think that was actually the spirit and intention of the policy. That should be allowed to continue as customary, but what's actually not allowed is excessive gifts. And indeed, sometimes also we have to be pragmatic in the sense that if you are given a gift in a public forum, do not embarrass the host by declining the gift. If it's inappropriate, you can always return it later by writing politely to that person. I myself had one awkward moment when I was at the UEM, the company which is chaired by Tan Sri Tajuddin. So back then, when I was a CEO, we received a visit from an Indian partner. And after we presented and discussed about our plans together, they presented me with a gift. First was a corporate gift, which was all right. And the second was a gift for my wife. When the chairman actually opened the gift, it was a set of jewelry, necklace, bangles, and so on, for my wife. I mentioned that, so this must be costume jewelry. And the chairman said, no, these are real precious stones. Then obviously, in such public function, you can't say, sorry, I can't take this. So I quietly take it, and after the cameras all gone, I actually went back to him quietly in private to say that it's something which we can't accept here in Malaysia. But I think this, to me, again, it is very important for us to embrace the spirit and intention, so not be dogmatic about it. So I can take into account the environment, and there are many ways of saying no politely without embarrassing other people. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, for all these efforts to reinforce corporate integrity and governance to be successful, the tone at the top and leadership by example must be there. In other words, these efforts must be driven and championed by the chairman, the board, and the CEO, while being supported by the management, the employees, and all business partners and stakeholders. And this is what we mean by top-down, all around in the corporate sector. Ladies and gentlemen, let me now move to the third part of my address, which is an update on PMB. It has been 15 months since I joined PMB, and Alhamdulillah, things are progressing well. Our President, Dato Abdul Ahmad, and I are fortunate to have received the baton from Tun Ahmad Sraji and Tan Sri Ahmad Kamapia, a very solid national institution of high integrity in PMB. PMB today is the largest fund management company in Malaysia, with some 271 billion funds under management, having grown by 12.9% CAGR since 1981. Two-thirds of our funds, or 186 billion ringgit, are invested in Malaysian public equities, representing 10.1% of the total market capitalization of companies listed on Bursa Malaysia. This includes the 6 strategic companies of Maybank, Samdabi, BMW Holdings, SP Setia, CCM, and MNRB, plus many other core companies where we own at least 10% shareholding, or 1 billion ringgit in terms of value. Obviously, with our various demerger exercises, these 6 companies will end up with 10, with the separate listing of Samdabi Plantations, Samdabi Property, CCM Grow Pharma, as well as BMW Oil and Gas. In November 2016, exactly a year ago, we announced our strategic plan 2017-2022 aimed at transforming PNB into a distinctive world-class investment house. Distinctive because we are the only one that offers fixed price unit trust funds in the world. World-class because we do benchmark ourselves against the best fund managers in the world in terms of investment methodology, processes, risk management, and returns. Now, the plan involved executing some 15 initiatives under 3 strategic pillars of enhancing sustainable returns, effective investment management, and driving operational excellence. Since then, we have been busy executing the strategic plan, focusing on the 4 initiatives under the first strategic pillar, that is optimizing asset allocation, boosting domestic public equity performance, increase exposure in private equity and fixed income instruments, and rationalizing and enhancing our property investments. Alhamdulillah, the transformation of our strategic companies is gathering momentum with a number of corporate exercises announced, and I must say the outcome has been very encouraging, where the value of our 6 strategic companies has increased by 24 billion ringgit in the first 10 months of 2017, 13% growth compared to the growth of 6.5% on Bursa Malaysia. This will certainly inspire us to do more to drive greater shareholder value from our strategic companies initially and later from our core companies. Now, beyond financial performance, PNB continues to deliver on our social objectives. Apart from providing more than 2,400 local and global scholarships to date, we have also committed to develop some 1,000 new professionally qualified accountants over the next 5 years. This will increase the number of professionally qualified Putra accountants by 60% from the current level of 1,735, which represents only 8.5% of the total 20,390 professionally qualified accountants in Malaysia as at September 2017. Now, we have secured almost 500 candidates to date and will continue to train more candidates until we reach our target. On our unit trust funds, we are pleased that Malaysians now own collectively 217 billion units of various ESNB funds via 13.2 million accounts. Notwithstanding 2016 was a challenging year for us, with the KLCI declining by 3%, we were still able to pay competitive dividend rate amounting to almost 13.9 billion ringgit across all 12 unit trust funds. We hope to increase the number of unit holders so that one day our dream is to have every single Malaysian to have an account with PNB. Now, in this respect, we are very pleased that Yang Berhad Prime Minister announced during the Budget 2018 presentation that PNB will introduce Amanah Dana Anak Malaysia, or ADAM 50, which will be implemented beginning 1st January 2018. ADAM 50 is for all Malaysian babies born from 1st January 2018 to 31st December 2022, who will receive 200 free incentive unit trust funds as a seed investment or a starter investment, which will be credited automatically in the unit trust funds after the registration process is completed by their parents or guardians. ADAM 50 will involve 2 funds, namely Amanah Saham Putra or ASB for Putra babies and Amanah Saham Satu Malaysia for non-Putra babies. Prior to this announcement, ASNB unit trust funds are readily open to individuals as early as 6 months of age. But with this ADAM 50, all Malaysian babies born will have an account with the government and PNB providing the initial or starter investments. The 200 incentive units and all dividends received on this initial amount can only be redeemed when the child reaches 18 years of age. Now, additionally, as part of PNB's efforts to encourage additional investments in the infant's account, the parents or guardians of non-Putra infants can invest up to 50,000 units. And for Putra unit holders, PNB is proposing to increase the investment limit of account remaja ASB from 50,000 units to 200,000 units subject to compliance requirements. Through Adam 50, PNB provides the platform which will encourage them to continue investing in the future in line with Transformasi Nasional 2050 aspirations. Adam 50 is expected to benefit some 2.8 million Malaysian infants expected to be born in the next 5 years. And for those of you who are still productive, I hope you will continue and contribute towards these statistics. Not so much for the 200 ringgit, but more to grow the demand and population of this country, I suppose. In my case, I think we already closed our factory, unfortunately. Sorry for that short commercial break on PNB. I'm sure you would agree that I wouldn't be doing my job if I did not promote PNB this morning. After all, most of you are already unit holders of our various unit trust funds. And if you are not one of them, you know what to do after this, hopefully. Well, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I hope each and every one of us will play our part, not only in embracing integrity as one of the core principles and values, but also in putting integrity into action. What this means is that, among others, choosing the right leaders for our respective organizations, ensuring the integrity of our records and financial statements, ensuring that we do not perpetuate corruption by paying bribes in order to secure contracts or favors, and to report or to whistleblow when we see acts of dishonesty. I believe if each one of us were to play our respective part, top down and all round if you like, then we can all move closer towards a crimeless, a corruptionless, and inclusive society. In the spirit of Negara Ku and Rukun Negara, let us all reflect on what we have achieved together and where we have perhaps not done well. Malaysians are known to be too hard on ourselves. We always complain too much. We always look at the glass as half empty as opposed to being half full. Well, to me, I know we're not perfect and there are many things that we need to rectify and we need to improve. But to me, we should all feel proud that this country of ours has also progressed in many ways. More recently, the Malaysian government's adoption of Blue Ocean Strategy in improving its service delivery system, such as the Urban Transformation Centres, the Malaysian Global Innovation and Creativity Centre, or MAGIC, and the Community Rehabilitation Centre, or Community Rehabilitation Programme, has received global recognition. The National Blue Ocean Strategy and BOSS initiatives have received special mention in the latest book entitled Blue Ocean Shift, written by renowned management gurus Professor Chan Kim and Professor Rene Mobon recently. Just like the earlier book, Blue Ocean Strategy, which sold some 3.6 million copies, this new book is expected to sell millions of copies too, hence increasing the profile of Malaysia globally. Now, this is certainly a big deal for Malaysia, and we should all be proud of it. Congratulations to our Prime Minister as the big chair, they call him, the Deputy Prime Minister as the medium chair, and also to our very own Tan Sri KSN, whom we describe as the small chair, for being the main drivers of NBOSS. And certainly congratulations to many of you here who are also participating in the various NBOSS initiatives. I thank you all for your attention, and for me, as someone who has been given this mandate to drive PNB, I will certainly pledge to do my part, and I would also request all of you to do your part. So it's my belief that if all of us can focus on our task at hand, do our respective part, and I think inshallah, notwithstanding whatever challenges that we face in this world, Malaysia as a country will continue to progress. And it is our hope that we will actually progress with full conviction, commitment, and with full integrity. With that, have a productive session today, and I wish you all the best in your respective endeavors. Thank you.